Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this video. This is a behind the scenes additional content for my patrons at my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/MichelO'Lully. So if you're watching this and you're not a patron and you want to get just, backstage access to my different content, be sure to sign up on my Patreon page. So with that out the way, this here is just the process of color shading and highlighting. As you can see, I am able to use the same saturation for different color objects. And sometimes that works depending if the color is within the same, RGB color scheme. And so shades of blue and gray, if it's not too dark, they should work, particularly for shading. Sometimes not so much for highlighting or just adding lighter or light source. So here, their uniforms, I was able to use the same saturation for their uniforms and also the back of the chair. And you can see the refrigerator as well. If you want something like this in more long form, because the original video was actually 44 minutes and I'm not sure if anyone wants to listen to my voice for 44 minutes, and so, but if you do, leave a comment and I can just post that video. I'm not sure if I'll be able to post commentary on that video because that's just time. So this is a separate commentary, and if I post that video, I wouldn't want it just to be a video and maybe some background music. I would, like to comment, but I don't know if I have time to do both commentaries. So, but let me know. So as you can see here, this is an initial shade application for that top of that left side wall. That will eventually change because I do go back to my previous episodes just to make sure that things are and proper correlation. And so when I did the initial color for this background wall, it was blue, and then when I went back to my previous episodes that are colored, it was actually this yellow, and so I changed it so that way I can keep the continuity. Although I did change the color of the refrigerator because I thought having a red will accent the scene a bit more than my original color of the refrigerator, which I think was a shade of gray, and I just thought it would just be too much gray. So here I'm using a shade. Sometimes the shading can be different for different skin tones. So here this is a lighter brown shade compared to the previous episode that this agent was in. But like I said, sometimes it is a scene by scene basis for keeping continuity. So you can see here I'm adjusting the shading for the wall, and I went with this because I felt like that was a more of a natural shade color for that yellow wall. And so yeah, and that's the great thing of working digitally as well, that you can do that. But I still like to do some things traditionally. You will see I'm about to add shadows to his arm, and I could technically select that portion of his arm from the original color, from the original drawing, and do a copy and paste, and then separate that on a separate layer, and then change the opacity, and then have a more sort of like exact replica for the shade reflection on the wall, the shadow I should say, reflection on the wall. But I chose to do it manually because I just still want to exercise those muscles of perception and being able to just utilize visual technique to bring about that similar result. And so here I am adding the highlights. For skin, I would sometimes use a hard brush tool or a airbrush tool because it's softer and it just adds a softer look and aesthetic to the piece, particularly for skin tones. And so So like I said, I think it's about 51 more seconds that's left. I'm just adding in highlights, playing around with how bright they should be. Some colors, like the refrigerator, requires a different shading or highlight tool, and I couldn't figure it out while I was recording this piece. But I'll have to, just do more preparation next time for that. Thanks so much for viewing and taking your time to watch this video. Again, if you want a long form of this video, just let me know and I'll be sure to upload that. But until next time, grace and peace.